How you finding the new gig?
I'm loving it. I'm learning a lot every day. I'm surrounded by great people. So it's been a lot of fun, and there's still a lot of work to do, but I'm really enjoying it.
I guess just how did everything go down for you to eventually move into a position? I know you were working with Dirk last season and stuff. What was the process like there?
Yeah, I think it was really just a conversation with Coach Danielson after the season, and then kind of getting the ball in motion and figuring out what's next and how to get organized. Being around Dirk for as long as I have been was great for me because I got a first-hand look at what it's supposed to be like. There's only one Dirk, so I got to make it my own and do my own thing and learn along the way. But to have him as a resource is, so awesome.
Prior to the Fiesta Bowl, I know Spencer had said he made a decision, but he was going to wait until after to announce it. Had he had any talk with you during the season, or was it after the Fiesta Bowl? Was it kind of?
Yeah, I think, timeline-wise, I think it was all after the fact. I think we were all very focused on the here and now and finishing the season and doing what we needed to do, knowing that we could kind of, cross that bridge when we got to it. But during the season, we were all just focused on what was next.
So what's the focus for this spring, I guess, for you?
For me personally, or for the offense, or?
For both.
For both? Yeah, personally, there's a lot of growth that needs to happen for me during the spring. There's a lot of experiences, a lot of learning, a lot of failing that I need to do in order to be better and be the best version that I can be. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going through it. I'm learning a ton. I'm surrounded by great coaches that help me every day. But spring is so valuable for that as a coach. And then as an offense, spring's such an awesome time for the young players to get valuable reps, to grow. So you're trying to grow the depth of your offense. You're trying to learn kind of what your identity is going to be, what your mentality is going to be. And then we've pinpointed certain areas that we want to get better at offensively. And so we're just focused on that, emphasizing that, and trying to improve as a whole.
For Maddox, he's healthy this spring. He's had a full season as a starter. He's not in a competition. What are you seeing from him this spring?
So far, he's led. He's been a great leader for our team. He's been operating really well. We're trying to challenge him mentally in certain aspects, and he's answered those challenges. He's made some plays. I'm looking for him to be consistent, and he has been that. So really, it's us as coaches continuing to find ways to push him to make him better, and then him becoming that best leader possible and being kind of the engine for our offense. And so far this spring, he's been doing that.
I know he's going to attack it the same way regardless of what the situation is, but have you seen anything new in him that you maybe necessarily didn't see in the past? Or?
No, he's who he is for a reason. He's a very competitive individual. He prepares really hard all the time. So all of those habits, those skills, those have carried over. I think it's been fun to see him bring the juice at practice, celebrate with his teammates, continue to grow as a leader. I mean, that's the biggest thing that we're noticing right now in spring ball.
What kind of offense should we expect this coming year? Obviously, missing a certain number 2, so things be a little different. Is it going to be run first still, or what are you imagining?
Yeah, no, I think the DNA of who we are offensively is not going to change. In order to be a successful offense, to win football games, you have to run the football. So that is not going to change. We have to have a physical brand of football. We know that. We also know that there's only one Ashton Genty, and he's now going to go play on Sundays. So that will change maybe the personality at times or who we need to get the ball to. But we know we still got to be able to run the football to be successful. Go ahead.
How do you like that competition in that running back room so far?
I love it. I love it. I love that room. Those guys have been competing tremendously hard, and they're making a ton of plays. Malik Sherrod has been a great addition to our program. Dylan Riley, as a young guy, is exploding, doing all sorts of things, not just in the run game, but every aspect, special teams, protection. So I'm really excited for that room.
What is kind of the first impression of Malik Sherrod as a guy who's probably the most experienced in the room, but the newest to the team?
I think that experience shows. I think he's played a lot of football, and you can tell when you watch him on the field. I think he's very confident, and I love that about him. He's also a very smart player and very versatile. So great addition. Love that guy.
For Sire, a very promising start at Georgia Southern last year, and then dealt with injuries. I know he's still dealing with those injuries this spring, but how hungry do you see him to get back to that level?
I think if you talk to anybody in this program, there's probably not a more hungry player on this team as far as wanting to get on the field, wanting to contribute, wanting to be great. So I know he's going to be fine. I'm excited for him. Biggest thing is just following the steps and getting and feeling as good as possible.
What do you ask of Sire? I mean, he can't play right now, or he hasn't yet. But for him to still stay up to speed, Nate, what does he have to do where he's not losing all this time maybe and he won't be able to play catch up?
Yeah, I think it's following the process with our medical staff, number one. Number two, it's staying engaged out at practice, staying engaged in meetings, taking those mental reps even though he's not doing it physically. And I think, like I said before, his mentality is so great that he's doing those things. So I'm really not worried about him missing a beat.
What's his timeline? Are you expecting him to be fine by August?
I don't know that. I don't know that answer. That would be for Coach Danielson.
How much do you like the stable of running backs you have? I mean, 4 guys
Yeah.
who have had some significant experience, 3 of them who have had significant experience here.
I love it. As an offensive coordinator, as offense, that's what you want. I think the running back position, man, that takes a toll on guys' bodies. So having guys and having depth in that room is huge for them. But it just helps us offensively be more multiple, and it creates competition. And that's what drives everybody to get better. Right now in spring practice, we're just worried about improvement, making sure that guys are getting better and finding out kind of what each guy is best at. And then once we progress and we go forward, we'll probably figure out what that looks like during the season.
Working with Zach Hill in this capacity,
Yeah.
what sticks out?
A lot of things. I've known Zach for a long time. I know he's a phenomenal coach. I really appreciate his honesty, his feedback, his ideas. He's very willing to, say, hey, how about we do it this way? Or have you thought about this? And I think having somebody like that in your corner is huge. And I've already been leaning on him a lot.
Left tackle to left tackle, as you who played it at the highest possible level here. Speak the language, like what makes Cage Casey, kind of where he is and maybe where he can potentially go?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of raw talent and athleticism and a giant, strong body that you don't see a lot of. I wish I had a lot of those attributes back in the day. But what makes him unique is that he pairs it with his preparation, with his work ethic, how he lives his life, how he sleeps, how he eats. And when you kind of combine all those things, that's when you get an elite player like Cage Casey. Because it's a very difficult position, but with his athletic tools and his mindset and his preparation, that's where you're seeing kind of all these things pay off.
Just with Dirk still in the building, how's that been for you, I guess? I assume you're still talking to him.
Yeah, so, Dirk's always going to be a resource for us. I think he understands that he doesn't need to be doing OC hours anymore. He can live his life, but he's always willing to help a hand and help us out and, be a sounding board for anything that we need. So having that resource is huge.
I guess just with that being said, I know you want to be your own man, your own coordinator, but I guess is there anything that you can take or you're going to take just from being under Dirk and how he worked and how he was as a coach and coordinator?
What do I take from that? Oh, man, there's a ton. I think anybody that's been around him in a football capacity would tell you that there's nobody that's more efficient on a day-to-day basis than Dirk. As far as being focused on getting the job done right now, not waiting until later, getting everybody organized, everybody on the same page. The football side of things speak for themselves, but I think that was such a good learning experience for me and the rest of our staff that worked for him.
2 receivers, I'd like your opinion on where they are. One, Cameron Bates, feels like every practice I'm at, he does 2 or 3 pop plays.
Yep.
And Chris Marshall just being available out
Yeah.
there. If you could talk about what you're liking from Bates and Marshall.
Yeah, Cam Bates has had a phenomenal spring so far. And to your point, every day he's making plays. And it's the little things that probably don't stand out to most people that he's doing as well. He knows his job. He's doing it at a high level. He's blocking at a high level. He's contributing on special teams at a high level. And when you do those things, you're kind of seeing those big plays happen. And just the person he is, just being around him, you guys will get a chance probably to talk to him at some point. He's just a phenomenal person. And it's fun to see him kind of grow and that confidence grow with it. Chris Marshall, I mean, he's been making plays. He's been consistent. He's been growing on the field. He's been bringing great energy. And so I think we're really excited with where he's at right now in spring and what he brings to this offense. He has that big play potential. I think we all know that, and he's showing it. So we're excited for both those guys because they're going to be big parts of what we do.
How personal do you think this is for Chris Marshall? I mean, he comes in last year, obviously he has his history, doesn't get a chance to really prove it last year. How personal do you think it is for him to really step out and have a big year this year?
That would probably be a better question for him personally and what he feels. But I know that he's been excited to go out and work, and he's been making plays. And I know the type of person and athlete he is, like he's going to have a big impact. So it's exciting for us as an offense to see him out there consistently contributing. So we're excited.
Matt Lauder as the tight end coach, getting him to that next level, which is probably like a first team All-American type of national level. Is it just getting better at what he's doing to grow into that? Or is there anything that now he's at a certain point you can start giving him more stuff to get to the next level? How do you get him there?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both. I think you expand on some of the things that we've done in the past, ask him to kind of fill a few new roles, maybe do a couple new things, but there's still a lot that he can improve on, that he will improve on, as far as just his fundamentals, his technique, his consistency, and I know he's driven to do that, so I'm excited about kind of what's next for him, but that's part of football. There's just so much that you can improve upon on a daily basis that will make him an even better player. So we're working on that, and then I think we'll find ways to get him in new spots, doing new things, and so that will help his growth as well.
With replacing Ben Dooley, how nice is it to have a luxury like Tyler, who played on the right side last year when Roger was hurt. You can just kind of put him in at the left position now.
Yeah. I think TK's experience from last season is going to pay off huge. I think Jason Steele's been doing a good job this spring. That's creating more depth for our interior O-line. You can't really replace a guy like Ben Dooley that's played so much football, but I like with where we're at right now in the interior O-line.
You feel that's one of the most experienced, the O-line in general is one of the most experienced parts of this offense?
I do, yeah, I do. And I think right now what we're seeing is a lot of young offensive linemen are getting the experience and reps that they need. Cage Casey's already played a lot of football. He's going to continue to get better, but it's really the young tackles that we're focused on right now. How can we get them better each day? What is that going to look like moving forward? But the offensive line, with Mason in the middle running the show, I mean, it's a huge, huge advantage for me as an OC and then for our offense.
What do you expect from Latrell Caples this year? I mean, he really came on at the end of last year and just, obviously had the injury a couple of years ago and just maybe was still kind of had a little injury at the beginning of the season. But what do you expect from him this season? Just
to build on how he finished last season, to be that playmaker that we know he is, to be the leader that he is for our offense, for our team. He does so much, not just making big plays, but we can move him and he can play multiple spots. He's a very smart football player. He's a very willing blocker. So he does so much for our team just beyond, making plays. But I think with where we left off, I'm just expecting him to build on that going into next season.
Anything else? Cool. Thanks,
Sweet.
Coach.
Thank you, guys.